I have it's like in normal life, I have obsessions with certain writers. And I went through an incredible phase about Proust, which sounds... The problem is you can never say you were into Proust without sounding like a pretentious asshole. But no, but I love reading. I don't know why, just ever since I was a kid, obsessed. It's a huge counterweight to my life at the piano, which is piano boot camp right here in this house where I brew up a pot of coffee, get started at 11 or whatever, and I would go till like 4. Go to the gym maybe, the brew pot number 2, and I would go from like 6 or 7 to whenever the neighbors knock on the door. But it used to be in the glory old days of this building, which were not really the glory days, but you could get a studio for $800 here, and it was just a place with a kitchen and a living room and a bed, and you could just practice all day long. It's basically how I live anyway. So there's not much here, you know what I mean? And maybe that's important. There's nothing to do but sit at the piano, in a sense. I often, be procrastinating, like, I wonder how Schnabel played that passage and blah, blah, blah. And I go on YouTube, Schnabel, Beethoven 111, blah, 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 and just listen, and I go back. I get a lot of exercise that way, walking back to the computer. I have a lot of little objects in the house that are kind of, I realize now, sort of childish objects. I have an angry bird, and I have a little devil that I found on my way to Korea. I think the common element of what I want in the practice room is something with deranged eyes. A sense of slight, because at the third hour of practicing, you're like completely out of your mind. But there's a lot of in the Ligeti Etudes when you feel like the demons are coming out. His music is very funny. It's continuous madness, and wonderful, joyful kind of madness, and I think people can feel that. But of course, one of the things that Ligeti is so obsessed with and wonderfully obsessed with is rhythm. And rhythm that's not by the bar, by 4/4 or whatever the normal meter would be, but rhythm that's built on a continuous fast pulsation, a constant running set of rhythmic units, and then different melodies at different rates of speed over that. So he starts with this very simple lamenting idea. Dee da da dee, dee da da. And then this is again one of those where he has all the pulsation really fast, and then he adds in, so at the beginning the lamenting idea comes every 5 pulsations. One to the one to the river, one to the river. And then pretty soon you get one every 3. And then they go against each other, and you hear the 5s and the 3s start to. Then there's a fantastic moment about halfway through where 3s, 5s, 7s, 4s, and 9s all happen at the same time, and there's these chromatic lines going blah 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 in every possible speed, and there's just such a terrible pileup of chaos, where the numbers are going off to infinity, and then suddenly he's playing at the outer edges of the keyboard, super quietly. This wonderful sense, like having escaped off to infinity, then suddenly there's this kind of emptiness, and of course that etude ends as it probably inevitably should, with the pianist just rushing off the end of the keyboard, chromatically off the bottom. The infinitely carried out consequence of the idea, which is a chromatically descending idea. And it's just gone completely berserk. I am attuned to the weirdnesses, I guess. That's something I like about music that's on the edge of destroying itself.